Well, I knew one was going to turn out good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, you've got three stones in front of you. These are all from fellow YouTuber Famo, who I met up with in town just before I actually got COVID. So these have been sitting there waiting for me. And yeah, these are three stones that he handed me to have a little bit of a play with. I can't actually remember because it was so long ago. I think he had the most hopes for this one, whereas I think I've got most of my money on this one just here. So we'll just zoom in and have a look at why. So this one here is the third stone. It looks like it's got a little piece of shell. So you can see here, nice little bit of color, but yeah, it is really just a small fragment of shell stuck to a large host rock. There might also be some other little bits and pieces inside. I don't really have any huge hopes. There's another little line there. Really, I think what you see here is just about the best the stone has to offer. Now, this is the one that Famo liked the look of because of this section here. So there is, I think it once again is a piece of shell, but it's less obvious in this one. What I don't like about this stone is I can see here that this has already been ground, this has already been ground, and I think whoever had this stone before him has already had a little bit of a investigation and then decided they didn't really want to pursue it any further. See, it could actually be that the shell continues in under this side here. And you can see a little pocket there. But apart from that, it's a lot of host rock. I actually thought this might be from Andamuka because of that host rock. But then, if we go across to this, so this might not look like too much, but it is a fairly clean piece of crystal. Now you can see the best of the colour sits over here, so there's this nice little red colour patch, but the rest of it does have a nice clean kind of blue-green, fairly common kind of crystal looking piece. And yeah, I think this one is probably the safest bet when it comes to actually producing something, even if it is just doublet material. So there may be a chance that we'll rub up all three pieces and have a little bit of a look. But then if this is the go-to piece, I might actually use this as a bit of a doublet practice. Well, not practice. I might just use this as a good example for a doublet, and then Famo can have his own little doublet when I hand these pieces back to him. So all I'm worried about, this sand, it doesn't look like it goes in too far. I've already had a look under the little torch, shining a torch through it. This also doesn't look like it goes in too deep. So they should both work out quite well. And then we've just got to clean both the top and the bottom. So both sides have to be crystal clear, so it really stands out as a doublet. But those are the three stones. We'll just give each one a quick little rub and we'll see which one does come out on top. You can always pre-predict it, but I'm pretty sure that this little crystal is going to be the best of the bunch. This one could surprise me, so we'll get into it and see what we come up with. Alright, carving time. Stone 1, stone 2, and stone 3. So we'll have them all up at the same time, try to keep track. I know I won't. But you can see here the top two are the fairly sandy, muddy kind of ones, and I use a similar technique on those two. So it's basically just working from the opal that we can see and just grinding around and trying to find where it goes, or if it links to any of the other bits of opal floating around, or whether it's just scrambled eggs all over the place. And then in the bottom we've got my pick of the bunch, the crystal opal, and you'll see how much cleaner and easier and less stressful it is. The inclusions are disappearing already, and we're only just getting started, so the other ones are quite a lot more hard work, but the mud is going really soft. You can see that I'm just scraping, and the burr is just digging it up. It is really like softer version of ironstone. It's just really soft, and you press in just a little bit, and all of a sudden you lose your burr 3 millimeters deep. It just disappears. So both of those are very similar. Just getting rid of mud really quickly. Whereas the other one, I'm taking a lot more time, a lot more care is getting put into it, and I'm really just making sure that we're not chipping at the opal. Standard kind of crystal opal stuff. And because the inclusions in it, you can see are disappearing so quickly, I am now working on the edges because this is going to be worth taking further with the Nova points at some stage. So do need to get rid of those edges, otherwise you'll damage your resin burrs really quickly and they're quite expensive. So let the sintered diamonds do the work and you'll be fine. So the other two, yeah, you can see there's not a lot of progress going on here. I've just removed a lot of dirt. I start doing something that I very rarely do, and that's just bury the burr point first into the mud just to get rid of it really quickly. It does remove it incredibly fast, and it will typically, as long as you're not pushing too hard, stop when you hit a piece of opal. So you don't need to worry about absolutely blitzing anything. It's why I'm using the 600 burr for all of these, because I knew the mud would come away really quickly anyway, so there's no point using the 80. And you can see there's just big chunks of dirt coming off. Huge chunks. And yeah, using the point a lot more than I would when I'm actually working opal. You don't want to use the point when you're actually dealing with an opal. You just want to use the sides of the burr, but if you're dealing with mud, you can use whatever you want and just dig it out. I'm just tracing around the opal at the moment for both of those stones, just trying to see where it goes and if there's anything worth hunting. Whereas the crystal, you can see there, it's already starting to take shape. I'm just pre-shaping it a bit, mainly focusing on getting rid of the inclusions first, but also focusing on taking off the edges. We'll do a bit more shaping in the video when we bring it back, because I will do a freeform carving, and yeah, it's not doublet worthy. It's a bit better than a doublet piece, so we will get a carving out of it. And yeah, at least it'll give Famo something to hold on to. That one's just about done, and now it's just these two left. And I mean, look at the state of it. It's still mud. I'm still hitting mud and still digging around, just looking for anything worth hunting. You can see it's not getting too far. I actually thought the bottom one, the big piece, that might have a little bit of Andamuka matrix in it, but it really is just, it's too soft, and there are flecks of opal, but nothing good. Nothing workable or treatable. And then this is the little one. I could see some spots of opal down near the bottom edge, so I'm just digging. Well, I knew one was going to turn out good, and it had to be this one. This was my prediction, so the nice crystal piece. All the imperfections have kind of cleared up really well, and you saw that I've taken off the edges because I reckon we'll take this one further, and I'll do a nice little freeform carving for old Famo. So he'll have something out of all of this, which is good. I'll be able to return him one stone, and I'll be able to return him 2 pieces of absolute nightmare fuel. So I'll get both of them on screen, actually. You can see here, I did a very interesting thing where I was kind of tunneling in around the opal that showed some potential, just to see if there was a bit more of a shell or something, and it turns out it's really just a sand shot, really thin sliver of opal that's kind of all over the place. It reminds me a lot, as a kid, I used to have those fossil kits where it was just like a bit of sandstone or something, and they've put some plastic bones inside, and you pick away at it with a toothpick and put together a dinosaur at the end. That's what this stuff is. This stuff is a nightmare though. It's made quite a mess of the desk, so I won't zoom out too far. So this one here, really, there were a couple little specks that I found as I was drilling in, but really they're just tiny little pieces that are just lost in the mud. The only thing is that this could possibly be salvaged if I can pick it off the rest of this, or just do a slice and then grind it back. That could actually be a relatively decent small triangle kind of doublet. This one here, even in this colourful area where the red is, it's really, there's just so much sand and these really dark inclusions all through it. This one, I could do the same thing, just slice down here and try to clean it up, which I might do, but it's not a very easy job, and it probably won't yield much either. Worth a go, but yeah, not a lot going to come out of it. The other side, there's a smattering, kind of a few little layers of common opal just scattered amongst it. So at times you're just drilling straight through sand and it's going away like mud, and then you hit just a little shelf kind of common opal with no colour in it. So, really annoying pieces, but like I said, we do have one piece here, which I'll bring back onto the channel and we will just shape it up. I'm not sure how to shape it up. It's a really weird piece, like, there's a whole heap of really nice opal in this kind of moon, half moon shape over here, and along this edge. Whereas on the other side, it kind of peters out a bit and just becomes that translucent kind of purple-green crystal with a little bit of a smattering of colour every now and then. Even a little bit of chaff from certain angles, which is quite unusual. I'll have to think about this one and come up with a shape and, yeah, go from there. 1 out of 3 ain't too bad, to be honest, because I had pretty much no hope for these ones anyway. And we might do something experimental on this one, but we'll put those aside and we will come back at some stage and work on this little piece. But for now, that's about it. Hopefully that gives you guys a bit of an idea of what to avoid, really. If you see pieces like this, maybe especially if they've been pre-windowed or rubbed back a little bit in some sus areas, then yeah, definitely you'd want to avoid it. Luckily enough, I think the story behind these is that Famo has had them for a while and picked them up while he was on a road trip, so it doesn't really matter. He hasn't lost money, and he's gained himself a nice little gem when it's finished, I think. One last look, and I will catch you guys in the next one.